Can you improve your investment returns through tax loss harvesting? Is permanent life insurance a good investment? And should you register an LLC, open up a business line of credit for the purpose of buying an Airbnb? We're going to break it down right now. Money, get to the bag. Welcome back to the Personal Finance Club show. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jeremy.
This is so exciting. This is our third episode, and we started before the first episode making these segments, and we were kind of discussing what we wanted the show to be like. And in these discussions, I often found us, each bringing up our own experiences. Oh, what we like from this show, what we don't like from this show, things like that. And I found, and I think you probably agree with this, that when we had these discussions, our experiences did not overlap very much, like basically not at all. And
right.
our feeds are separate.
Mm-hmm.
Our awareness of pop culture is very separate. I feel like we just kind of live in these, like, despite both living in Southern California, not very far from each other, we kind of live in these separate worlds. Was that your experience?
Yes, I think specifically when it comes to the internet, we're on very different sides of the internet. Although I was offended when you asked me if I knew who Conan O'Brien was. I hope he's not one of your people, but I was like, I know at least who Conan O'Brien was. And what I asked you at one point who Keke Palmer was, and you didn't know. And I was like, well, wait a minute, we got to explore this a little bit more.
Well, exactly. And so I was like, I don't know where like the difference of this, different internets we live on or the different feeds we live on, where those borders end. So Conan, I don't know Keke. And so I thought what we could do is we could show each other 3 each mystery photos. And so I picked 3 people who are like, 2 of them are my celebrity crushes, and one of them is a person who I actually mentioned her name to you and you didn't know. And so I want to I'm going to show you these pictures. Well, I'm going to show you the pictures, and you have to, I'm not going to tell you genders or anything, and you have to decide, do you know this person? What are they famous for? And then same for me.
Okay.
You want to go first? Yeah, you look at my first celebrity, so you look at the first photo.
I'm going to look at, so we have these in a folder. Jeremy, mystery person 1. All right, I'm clicking.
And describe what you're seeing.
I'm scared. Okay, it's a white man in a suit without a tie. Do
you recognize this person?
I don't recognize this person.
Okay.
Oh my...
Okay.
Are you giving me any clues or no?
I guess a clue is I specifically chose photos of these people where they're not in their element.
I gave you some context in mind. That's not fair.
No, I just want to see if you know their faces.
I don't.
Okay, well, we'll see who wins. But the first thing is this is one of my 3 celebrity crushes.
Okay.
I'm straight, by the way. It's a heterosexual crush.
Okay, are you going to tell me? Or are you going to give me any clues? Or what's the tea?
Well, okay, you don't know. I don't think I'll tell you. I don't
know.
You do not know Celebrity Jeopardy champion Ken Jennings.
Oh, is Ken. I do know him.
Oh, you know Ken Jennings?
Darn. Oh. I was like, why does he look kind of familiar? Okay, yeah, I do know him. Darn. But who's topping Alex Trebek?
Well, he famously won 74 episodes of Jeopardy back in the early 2000s, and now has taken over for Alex Trebek as the host of Jeopardy since a year ago or something.
I'm kicking myself because I actually do know who he is, but I just didn't recognize him out of... Okay. Yeah, of course, if you put him on the Jeopardy stage.
Right. If you saw him on the Jeopardy set, you would have known, of course.
Okay.
All right. I'll give you 50% credit for that one. You know him.
I know who he is, but yeah, I can't... His face, darn. Okay.
All right.
You're going to click on my first one?
Jen's first mystery person, number 1. All right, this is 3 people here. They're
this one I want you to tell me who the person in the middle is, but I'm curious if you know the other 2 people.
So they're 3 young black people, all men, I think. Although the person in the middle has long dreads. Yeah. On the right is Kevin, the famous, the most famous comic in the world. I'm drawing a blank on his last name. He's
I'll give you that. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Yeah. Of course, I know Kevin Hart. He's been in all the movies.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to venture a guess on the other 2, I have no clue. They look like streamers or something based on how they're sitting. The guy in the middle, I don't know. Is he a rapper? Is he like Lil Wayne or something? I do not know.
And for the people listening, I did give you context. They're in gamer chairs, they're kind of just hanging out. So I didn't put people totally out there.
So that's no context for Kevin Hart, right? If he's on stage.
Once I tell you who he is, it'll give you a little bit more context. But okay, so do you want to know? You kind of made a guess, which isn't the craziest answer. He's not Lil Wayne, but Lil Wayne has locks, and he is a young black man or youngish.
Okay,
So
see,
I'll give you
and
that. I'll give
in
you
the maybe not the
5%.
ballpark, but maybe the city or something.
So this is, you want me to tell you?
Yeah, tell me.
This is Kai Cenat. He's a streamer who has 19.6 million followers on Twitch.
I think
At
you showed me every Twitch streamer with over 20 million followers. I would be able to name zero, maybe one of them.
well, and I don't actually follow his career too intensely. However, at the time of this recording, he's on day, I believe, 25 of a 30-day, 24-hour live stream. And celebrities are coming in and out, like Kevin Hart, like Mariah Carey, like Kalani, like Marlon Wayne. So he's kind of huge. Like people are just coming through to just hang out in this like really crazy thing where he's streaming his entire life, like having sleepovers on camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something I feel like would be in my like sphere, like my internet sphere, but it's not for some reason. And I feel like my next mystery person is kind of like that. Where it's like not a person I'm like this massive fan of, but like just somehow shows up in my feed for various reasons.
Okay. So you want me to click?
And who's the other person, just out of curiosity?
Drewski is just a famous. I wonder if there's any crossover in your listeners, but Drewski is he's basically an internet personality who's really hilarious and has lots of skits across platforms. He was like helping host the BET Awards this past year. Like he's major and he has so many followers and such a huge fan base. But I was curious if you would like at all have come across him, and it seems like
no. He wasn't looking right at the camera in that photo, and so like maybe I would recognize his skits, but I didn't know his face.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send you some.
Go for person
so I'm
2.
clicking on number 2 for you.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. It's a girl at a football stadium. She's blonde. So you took them out of context. So this is not necessarily related to football, or you can't tell me.
This one is kind of in context. Like there's a big clue, but
okay. So is she married to a football player?
Not quite, but she's married to an athlete. Or no, she's dating an athlete or something. I guess I don't know.
Dating an athlete. I don't know these girls' names. I barely know the athletes' names. I mean, I have no idea. I've definitely never seen this person before in my life. Celebrity crush. She's pretty.
I will say this is the name who I mentioned when we were hanging out at the.
Oh, and I already forgot it. Literally yesterday or the day before you told me this name.
Exactly.
I already forgot it. No context.
All right, I'll tell you. This is LSU gymnast Livy Dunn. And you might be saying, why is it like, there are dozens or 100 of Division I colleges and so many Olympic sports. So why is this one gymnast from this one college, why is she notable? Well, when you look at like the list of highest paid athletes in the country, she's like always in the top few because apparently people think she's extremely good looking. And so she just has these she's like a massive internet hot person. And and then she's dating the best baseball player, like the number 1 draft pick in the MLB draft is her boyfriend who went to LSU. And so they're this this notable celebrity couple.
Who's the guy?
His name's Paul Skeens. He's like the best pitcher, the number 1 draft pick pitcher guy. And I don't even follow baseball, so I don't even really know that because of her, to be honest. But I don't follow her because I see her stuff in my feed, but I see sports shows who mention her. They're like, oh, the best paid athletes, Tiger Woods and Livy Dunn. And she's like a kind of a joke because she's not being paid well because she's an athlete. She's just like a college gymnast. If she just graduated or whatever, I don't know. So yeah, and so she's in front of an LSU stadium. She went to LSU, so that was kind of the hint. But yeah, she's not in her gymnast outfit.
I'm 0 for 2. Okay. You click on my second one?
I'm scared too. Yeah, we'll see.
Who did I put second? Let me see.
I know this person.
I gave you too much context. I'm mad, but it's okay.
I would have known without the basketball. But yeah, this is a very attractive young black woman with a pink basketball sitting in front of a pink wall, taking some sort of photo shoot. And it's Angel Reese, the WNBA superstar who is famously in little spats and feuds with Angel Reese comes up in my feed a lot. People are saying she's great, she's not great, I don't know, she's a very polarizing WNBA is very much in my feed too for some reason. I just feel like just for the same reason Livy Dunn is, just because it's very trending in sports lately. But yeah.
Okay, so sports Female sports is our crossover right now. So I
Well,
almost put Asia Wilson, but I didn't know if you would know her. I wanted to celebrate her just getting MVP, the WNBA this year, but I was like, I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch. Would you have known Asia Wilson?
I doubt it. I highly
Yeah.
doubt it.
Dang.
Yeah.
I don't want to make it too hard. I also, what you would have known anyway. But yeah, Angel Reese, shout out. I tried to get her Reebok. She just released a shoe, sold out completely. So
Really?
yeah, sold out within
Good for
like
her.
hours. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, the whole like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese thing, like, you know, stadiums are filling up, like
Yeah. I've
broadcasts
seen
are
a couple
happening.
WNBA games here in LA. The Sparks stink, so I can't see
Totally.
anymore because they're not in the playoffs. But
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of it. It's just people always complain about like WNBA players not getting paid enough. And, you know, a lot of it just viewership. And, you know, tennis is kind of pretty much on par women versus men. And like thanks a lot to like Serena and like all the great female tennis players. And now, you know, this maybe is the start of bringing it closer to parity. So good for
yes.
women's sports.
Okay, darn. Okay, so you got one. All right, so I'm clicking on 3 now,
Number
right?
3, yeah.
I just got to get one, please. I already know I don't know. This is a white man, I believe, with disheveled hair. He looks like he could be a comedian or an actor. He looks a little goofy.
It was very hard to find pictures of this person without contextual clues because he's just never somewhere without the context.
The closest person, I feel like I know what this person looks like though, so I don't think it's him, is the guy that like hosts Catfish, Neve. He kind of looks like that.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit.
That was a good guess. Yeah, I think we should be required to guess names if we don't know. I guessed Lil Wayne on that one. I was wrong. Yeah, no, you're not right. This is a rock climbing mega superstar, Alex Honnold.
Rock climbing superstar is
You don't know Alex Honnold?
Disqualified. That's
Alex
crazy.
Honnold is a massive, massive celebrity. Did you hear the Oscar-winning movie Free Solo from a couple years ago?
No.
Oh, well.
Wait, maybe the people that climb the like side of mountains without any like apparatus in case if they fall they just die.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's him.
I did hear about that. But I didn't see it.
Yeah, that's this guy. So he's
I don't think I
like
have the stomach for it.
The world's preeminent free soloist. He climbed Mount or El Cap, which is in Yosemite, which is like this 3,000 foot or something rock face that just looks like glass to me, and he just climbs up 3,000 feet, and he's one of my celebrity crushes because he's so cool. He's just down to earth. He like despite the job he does, but he'll say things like everyone's like, what you do is super risky. He's like, well, it's not really risky. There's two factors of risk. There's like likelihood of fall, and there's the stakes that happen if you fall. He's like, the stakes are very high. Admittedly, if I fall, I'll be a bag of meat. Just exploding on the ground. He's like, but to me, for me, this is like walking down the sidewalk. I only do things that are that easy when I'm not using a rope, because of his skill set. So yeah.
Wow.
But those are two of my celebrity crushes, Alex Honnold and Ken Jennings.
Okay, gotcha. All right, you're gonna do my last one. I'm very curious. Maybe I made mine too easy, but let's see if you know.
All right, this is a black woman wearing a big gold chain and a top hat or a bowler hat that's kind of crooked. It's like looks like some sort of professional portrait in front of a white background. I do not know this person.
Okay, so
she looks like
too easy.
She looks like a comedian to me. But also, like, knowing you, I think that like these people, I mean, Angel Reese wasn't, but like you haven't done a musician yet. So I assume maybe it's a musician. The big chain looks like it might be rap related. I don't know. Or maybe I know her, like, I feel like if you say her name, I might know her. And then I'm like, oh, it doesn't look like her in this photo or something.
I think you would know her name.
Like, I don't think it's Missy Elliott, but like maybe it's like in that.
God, it's
not right.
You're going to get roasted so bad for that. That's crazy.
I said it's not Missy Elliott.
It's not.
See,
it's not
and I'm putting myself out there saying a name.
No, I respect that.
Yeah. Okay.
I respect
that.
So
I don't know. Who is it?
It's Erykah Badu.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. She's a singer.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably know several of her songs. I'm horrible at music. This
You
might
really
sound like
don't know music, which is I could have done all three. I was like, that's not fair because we've talked about music before and you don't know anything.
you can,
I,
yeah. And these were all black people. You can show me like white musicians I wouldn't know, except for Taylor Swift, like who I do
well, I
recognize
wasn't gonna
now.
do Taylor or Beyonce. That's not fair.
I would
Shouldn't
know
have done
Beyonce
Angel
too.
apparently.
Yeah,
But
that one
yeah, Erica
was.
Badu is one of the most prolific songwriters of our time, poet, activist, just prophetess. She's been famous for about like 30 plus years. So
No, yeah, 100%. And the fact that it spans to the 90s is probably why I know her name at all. And I'm horrible at music. I don't know any musicians.
wow.
It's not my thing. Well, okay,
Okay, that
so
was fun.
collectively we're 1 for 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know.
I know. I'm so mad about Ken because I was like,
Oh
he
yeah,
does look familiar, but outside
Ken
of like,
Jennings.
he was
Yeah,
wearing a suit jacket, so I almost, I don't know. I just haven't watched Jeopardy since my boy Alex. Man,
yeah.
not really.
No,
I've seen a couple
to be
episodes here and
fair,
there.
yeah. Ken Jennings is kind of this like, people in the Jeopardy world obviously think he's massive, but
I
yeah,
know, and I cried when Alex Trebek died. I was so sad.
okay.
I love him, but yeah, okay. We'll have to do this again. This is fun.
This one's fun. Maybe we can improve upon our score. All right.
Okay.
So what's next? Let's get into the show.
We have to get into our regularly scheduled programming with Explain It Like I'm Five.
All right. Explain like I'm 5. The world of finance is complicated. We're going to break down these really scary, complex sounding terms more simply. What do we have today, Jen?
Yes, you recently made a post on Instagram about tax loss harvesting, something that I personally had never heard of. So your infographic helped me a little bit. I got a pretty good understanding from what you posted, but can you explain it like I'm 5?
Oh man, every time you say 5, I'm like, this is going to be hard for a 5-year-old who's still like learning numbers, but I'm going to do my best. The reason I posted about this is because a lot of people hear this term tax loss harvesting because it's used in marketing for investments. So you might go to a robo-advisor that says, we do tax loss harvesting, magically creating better returns. Or you might go to, Fidelity reached out to me personally and tried to sell me this thing that says, hey, because of tax loss harvesting, we're going to make you more money. And in my opinion, to start with, like those marketing claims are greatly exaggerated to the point of maybe not being true at all. And so what is tax loss harvesting? Here's the simple explanation. When you buy something, let's say you buy a bar of gold for $1,000, and then let's say it goes up in value to $3,000, and you sell it, you have had a gain of $2,000. That's called a capital gain. Capital is stuff like a bar of gold, and a gain is when that stuff goes up in value. If I buy a bar of gold for $1,000 and sell it for $3,000, I have a capital gain of $2,000. The government taxes you on capital gains. At the end of the year, when you file your taxes, you have to submit a tax form saying all of the gains you've had. If you're literally selling bars of gold like on the black market or something like that, you might need to just like honestly report it. More typically, you have a brokerage account like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab that gives you a tax form reporting how many capital gains you had this year. And so like if I go report I had $2,000 in capital gains, the government's going to tax me at a capital gains tax rate, which is typically 15% for a lot of people. So 15% of $2,000 is what, $300. And so of my $2,000 gain, I have to send $300 to the federal government, and I get to keep the other $1,700, plus of course the principal, that first $1,000 I put in. So I bought a bar of gold for $1,000, sold it for $3,000. After taxes, I walk away with $2,700 because I paid the 15% on just the gain. That's a taxable gain.
Mm-hmm.
A taxable loss is the opposite. So let's say I also bought a bar of silver for $1,000. And let's say in this very hypothetical example, silver went down to 1 cent and now it's only worth 1 cent. I have this gain of $2,000. And if I want to mitigate my tax on that, I could harvest, I'm making the air quotes if you're listening, I could harvest the loss on my silver, which is down about $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to harvest that, I sell it. So I go sell my silver for a penny. This is not how precious metals go up and down in value, by the way. It's just an example.
Mm-hmm.
I could sell my silver for a penny. Then, in addition to my gain of $2,000, I have a loss of $1,000. Added up, that's a net gain of only 1,000. That means instead of paying $300 in taxes, I would pay only $150 in tax. So basically, by selling the silver, I've locked in that loss, I've harvested the loss, and now I pay less on the gains. That's what tax loss harvesting is. That's the entire thing. It's selling stuff at a loss to mitigate the taxes of your gains. That is what tax loss harvesting is. And all the strategies that are discussed on top of that are basically like, riffing on that. So it's like, okay, if you own 6 stocks and 4 up and 2 are down, you could sell 2 for a minute and then buy them back and then push forward that, that gain for another day or whatever. That's what it is. And so people, there's a little caveat here, which is when you sell, like if I sell my bar of gold for a penny and then I go right back to the market and buy a bar of gold for a penny, the government says, hey, not so fast. We don't want you doing the tax loss harvesting just performatively. We want you to actually sell the thing and stick to it. Mm-hmm. And so if you buy back the same thing or a sufficiently similar thing, there's like phrasing with the IRS laws that say this, then it doesn't count. It's called a wash sale, mm-hmm. which means you basically can't count your loss. It's not just something to be aware of. And so all the strategies people talk about tax loss harvesting are basically saying, okay, instead of just buying one index fund, you could buy like 100 different stocks and then kind of harvest all the losses every year, thus offsetting some of the gains, thus kicking the can of paying the tax on those gains down the road. Mm-hmm. But like it comes with a bunch of caveats. It only works if certain things are true. Like you have gains that you need to offset if you're in a high tax bracket and you expect to be in a low tax bracket later. Like there's all these like caveats to it. And so the net result for me is like generally don't worry about it. It's good to know that it exists. And if you do have a large gain, like let's say you sell a house or you sell a bunch of stock and have a huge gain, like you have some company stock and you sell it, and then you also have some like crappy stocks out there at a loss, you might consider selling them this year and buying something else back or waiting the 30 days and buying it back just to mitigate your taxes. But beyond that, I wouldn't say this is something that like everyone should be doing all the time just because there's maybe a strategy out there because it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. So there it is. 5-year-olds.
Okay.
I'm sure all the 5-year-olds are glued to their YouTube right now learning about this.
On the edge of their seat for sure.
Yeah. I did my best to explain like I'm 5.
That was good. I mean, from your post, I got the gist of it. It just, to me, honestly, didn't seem worth it. It seems like trying to gain another way to try and game the system. So for me, that's kind of what I took away from it. Just, keep
almost
it simple.
Always the more complex thing is worse for people. Almost always.
Yeah.
And as humans, we like to introduce complexity because it seems like you're making moves. It seems like you're doing stuff. And so if people who have a very simple strategy, while it's optimal and will do better than almost all investors, we have this like impulse, this urge to introduce complexity. And this is like a very fancy sounding type of complexity we could introduce, but it probably won't leave you better off. And so I say, hey, buy some index funds, leave them in your account, let them sit there for years. That's how you optimize your wealth.
Period. Thank you. Okay, should we go on to our next segment?
Let's do it.
Can I ask a dumb one? Now,
are you asking a dumb person? Are you asking a dumb question? I think maybe every episode the answer could alternate.
It could change. Our inbox is really heating up. I'm getting lots at podcast@personalfinanceclub.com. Some people, y'all are wilding out. There's too many questions.
Wait, are you serious? We're getting emails there?
Yes.
That's amazing. Are people listening to this? I didn't know we were recording.
I can't.
I've been talking to a Pringles box this entire time, a Pringles tube.
I'm vetting the inbox. Some people are asking like 12 questions per email. I'm like, maybe we need to set up an office hour. But yeah, it's great. I am very happy that people are not only listening, but asking questions, and they're good questions. And this one I plucked because not only was it one of our first questions, but it's something that you talk about a lot. It's from either Bridget or Brigitte. And she asks, I purchased life insurance about 5 years ago and don't want to lose the money I have already invested. Why is this investment strategy bad? I'm maxing out my 401k, Roth IRA, and I'm investing money into my Vanguard account monthly. I have no children, but this was sold as an additional investment avenue. If it is as bad, I think she wants to say, is it as bad like you've mentioned on your Instagram? What do I do?
Yeah. So just for the record, I don't love talking about life insurance. I don't really like talking about it at all. And the reason I do is because it's one of the most predatorily sold products I've ever seen of anything. It really feels like there are just these very dishonest, disingenuous people pushing these very, very fake narratives about why people should be investing in life insurance. And, Bridget's in incredible shape, by the way. She's maxing out her 401k. She's maxed out her Roth IRA. She's investing money into what I believe she means is like a taxable Vanguard brokerage account. Like, Bridget's crushing it. She's going to be a multimillionaire. She's going to have an incredibly successful financial life, whatever she does with this life insurance policy. But what I often see is 25-year-old school teachers who don't have an investment to their name, who are being sold annuities or life insurance or IULs or variable life insurance or whole life insurance, basically because the first person they ever came across in the financial services industry only makes money by selling these very expensive life insurance policies. And then, exactly as Bridget said, it was sold to me as an investment. Like, what she said there is illegal. Life insurance agents aren't allowed to sell these things as investments, but they almost exclusively do. And that's why I talk about it, because it's basically, in my opinion, a scam being operated in broad daylight, being pushed on these young people who don't understand what they're buying to their devastating financial outcome. Just for some scale, I bought one of these life insurance policies a while back, and I did the math. I read, it was a 90-page policy. I read all 90 pages. I very dutifully put every single detail of the policy into a spreadsheet, put like an actual investment in the spreadsheet, compared it side by side. The insurance policy I bought over the course of 40 years would have grown to $320,000. And to be fair, that's kind of like an optimistic scenario because these policies can lapse if you miss payments. There's like all sorts of, they can change the rules on you. There's all sorts of ways these can go worse. But like optimistically, by the pitch that was given to me, it would grow to $320,000. An investment in an index fund, the same exact index that this life insurance policy purportedly tracks, would grow to $1.8 million. So while Bridget's asking, is it as bad as you say? It's like, well, you might end up with $300,000. In the case of the one I bought, yours is different because they're all different. They're very hard to like pin down because they all have like differing rules. But, in the case of the one that I bought, I'm $1.5 million worse off, right? And if I'm a 25-year-old teacher and this is where I'm putting my only investment, to end up as a 65-year-old teacher with $300,000 in the bank, you're a poor person. That's not going to produce much income. You're not going to be able to live for long. You're like, hopefully you have a teacher pension, some Social Security, a little bit of cash from this policy. Maybe if it's survived that long, most of them don't. But if you had an index fund, you'd have $1.8 million. You could maybe have retired early. It's like life-changing, right? And so is it as bad as I say? I'm like, yeah, that's what I think of it, right? And so to go back to Bridget's question, is it as bad as you say? I think it is, because long-term you're going to end up with dramatically less money. In your case, though, you're setting yourself up so well with your 401k, your IRA, your investing money. Does it hurt to have a life insurance policy? Like, maybe not. It's not going to be that dramatic difference. Like, it's not going to be the difference between retiring and not retiring. I still think you'll be worse off. So what do you do? And by the way, she says it was sold as an additional investment, and she has no children, right? So that just speaks to the insurance salesman mindset, which is they're not looking to actually insure you. The purpose of insurance, they're looking to misrepresent this product as an investment and sell it to people who don't need life insurance, which is what happens all the time. And so she doesn't want to lose money. And so what I say to that is, first of all, Bridget, there's a sunk cost fallacy. The money you've put into it is already gone. It is what it is, or it's not gone. It's in the policy. That's behind you. What you care about is what the best decision is moving forward. And there's a saying, you don't want to throw good money against bad. So I don't know the numbers, you didn't include them, but like, let's say you put $5,000 in this policy. Just because you don't want to lose that $5,000 doesn't mean you should put another $20,000 into the policy, right? The $20,000 might be better off invested in a real investment going forward, like just added to your Vanguard account. That said, I don't know your numbers, and so it's important to look. You can go look and see, hey, what's the surrender charge? How much can I get out? What's the real prospect of this thing? Understand what are the fees going forward? What is the likelihood of lapsing? What's going to happen to the cost of insurance as it goes up? I know nothing about your policy, so I don't know, but it's worth taking a hard look at it and saying, okay, from this point going forward, can I get any money out? Should I keep putting money in until the surrender charge lapses? Is there money better spent elsewhere? What's the real life insurance benefit to me, if any? Do I need life insurance? If I do I need term life insurance in place? And, all these questions are a little bit hard, which is why I think it's really important to talk to a flat fee financial advisor, because flat fee financial advisors don't sell products. If you go talk to an insurance salesman, the only way they can make a living and the only way their brain operates is by thinking about how they're going to sell you something so that they can continue to raise their family.
Right.
I know, no disrespect to the hustle, but from your perspective, you can't get an honest answer when that incentives, but when that incentive is in place. But when you talk to a flat fee financial advisor, like those on Nectarine at hellonectarine.com, full disclosure, this is a company I started because I feel passionate about the business model of financial advisors and how messed up it is for most people. But yeah, you could go grab an hour with a Nectarine advisor, show them your actual policy, show them the incentives, show them your other, the rest of your financial world. And then, they're not insurance haters. They don't care. They're not Vanguard haters. They're not anything haters. They just want to do the best for you, and they'll give you their honest opinion without having to worry that they're trying to make a commission. So that's what I would do.
Boom. Just like that. Bridget, I hope that answers your question. Thank you for writing in. Now the questions are going to start to flow, and it's like we're going to have to pick and choose. It's going to get
This
tricky.
is exciting. Episode 3, we got a lot of questions, but keep writing your questions in. What's the email address?
podcast@personalfinanceclub.com.
Nice.
Boom. Okay, shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Okay, our next segment is Scroll Patrol.
Scroll Patrol.
Amazing. This one is short and sweet, but I think, you get a lot of juice out of it. So go ahead and open that on up and let us know what you think. It'll be a quick reaction, but let us know.
Let's see. I don't recognize the thumbnail so far. Whew. Okay, so it's one of those, it's got no talking. It's just this pretty girl holding a Amex something card, and it says, "Girl Math is opening a brand new LLC for $200, then applying for a $50,000 0% interest business funding, then using it to invest in your first Airbnb property for $10K, then paying off the funding with the profits from the Airbnb." I don't know if that's girl math. I don't know what kind of math that is. So there's so much. This just speaks to I think this is a perfect scroll patrol, because it's just like this word salad of financial stuff crammed into this little paragraph and purported to be this nuanced hack that, this pretty girl with this credit card in a jewelry box is apparently getting rich from this little paragraph she wrote. And so let's break it down. Opening an LLC for $200. An LLC is a limited liability company, and it depends on the state you're in. You have to file a form with the state and pay a small fee. In California, it's actually more expensive. It's like $800. In Michigan, it was like $50. So I believe whatever state she's in, it might be $200. And then you have a business, and it's got a business name, and you can open up a bank account in that business. And to be fair, you might be able to apply for a loan in that business. Are you going to get a $50,000 loan with an LLC you opened up a week ago with 0% interest rate? Not from anywhere I've ever seen. I'm not aware of the existence of that lender who just gives $50,000 to a empty LLC.
Well, maybe that's the girl math part. Maybe that's the Delulu.
I don't know. This whole girl math trend, I can't really speak to because I'm a tall American rich white dude. So I try to stay in my lane a little bit with checking my privilege. But, I do feel like maybe it's a little bit dismissive of, ideas like this isn't girl math. This is crazy math. And so are you going to be able to walk in the bank with this LLC form that you filed last week and just have them give you $50,000 at 0%? I don't even know why banks are in the business of lending money for a return. I don't know why they give you a 0% loan. Obviously, there are like 0% introductory rates on credit cards and auto loans sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but those are in exchange for you like making purchases on the card, which they make money from, or buying a car, which they make money from. Just getting a business loan at 0% doesn't make any sense. Then using it to invest in your first Airbnb property for 10K. I don't know why I went from 50 to 10, and I don't know how you're going to buy an entire property for $10,000. I assume the implication is you're going to go buy a property that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars and use $10,000 as the down payment
Mm-hmm.
and then pay off the loan. Like I'm just like, it's like sifting through this like pile of wet newspaper, and that's been sitting like in your driveway for 3 weeks, and then trying to like find a page that makes sense. And I'm like, like, yeah, maybe, buying investment real estate, that's really good investment real estate, and you put a lot of work into and do the numbers and manage really well and
Mm-hmm.
and lease up and all that stuff, could potentially be a good investment, and that could potentially even be a profitable investment. Having a vacation rental property. But what I'm looking at is like almost like, should we have like a nonsense scale? Maybe let's introduce that, a nonsense scale where like 100% is like just pure and utter complete nonsense, and then 0% is like, hey, this is actually like really solid information. I would personally do this. This is like 94% nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny in looking for videos like this, I see a lot of comments that are like, teach me how, DMing you. And it's really scary. So I thought I'd pop this one in there.
Yeah. I mean, and for transparency's sake, I started teaching personal finance back in 2019 because I love it. It's just like my passion. It's what I like just read about. It's what I love. And in 2020, I did start selling a course on the basics, and there's like no secrets in the course. It's everything that is like it's the same thing that's available on this podcast, on the Instagram, on the website. I was like, well, people keep asking me for these how-to videos, so I was like, I'll put them all together. I'll sell it for like $50, see how it goes, and that's basically what's been able to fund your and my salary ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And when people hear I sell a course, they're like, oh, you scammer. And I was like, I don't blame you. Like, if whoever made this post, which I assume isn't this girl who's now I'm realizing holding a credit card for some reason when she talked about a business line of credit, but if whoever made this is selling a course on how to do this, I would be very considerate about what's in that course. If you're suggesting going and buying real estate 100% on debt, and pushing this idea that there are 0% loans to do this with, and that having an LLC is going to magically make a difference somehow, like that's like 94% nonsense, right? Like that's not something I would be selling. And the course then course that's being sold on 94% nonsense is basically a scam at that point. So I don't really fault people when they like yell at me for having a course.
But you should go buy the course. If you need
the
it.
argument for it is like it's it's a fraction of the cost of a single community college credit, and people who take it, the average review is like 4.97 stars or something.
Shout
We've
out.
had 20,000 people take it, and just like they all, what I hear is it's like life changing. The people who hate me probably don't send in nasty messages because they're probably very polite people, but I feel really good about it, and it's got 100% money back guarantee. If you don't like the course or you just want to steal it, just email us and we give you your money back, because we're not trying to like trick you into buying some junk. We're trying to make you millionaires.
Alrighty, it's time to move on to our last segment. Money, money. Jeremy had time today.
We're in the comments section. We're in the DMs. I got a 7-month-old. I'm running 2 businesses. Well, I still got time to go get into some old-fashioned flame wars on the internet. So what do we have today?
Okay, so you recently posted about picking stocks. I believe the stock that you used as an example was NVIDIA, or one of the stocks you used. And we had a very lively comment section. One user commented, I understand your point, but you are invalidating people who study the market and do research about the stock they are buying. There's a lot you can do with the right mindset, analysis, and study.
So, to this commenter, I think buying and holding good stocks is a good thing. I think that's like on the scale of nonsense, not nonsense, it's only like 4% nonsense. It's like, not nonsense. It's like a good thing. And, there are very famous, very successful investors like Warren Buffett who have done insanely well. But, and so I don't want to invalidate those people. I think buying and holding good stocks is a good thing. But, the last sentence, there's a lot you can do with the right mindset analysis and study. I think that is not true. I think that's false. And the reason I think that's false is because when you look at expert stock pickers who devote their life and their careers to the right mindset analysis and study over and over and over and over, they lose to the index. And what I mean by that is if you just bought all the stocks, as crazy as it sounds, you'll do better than, most likely, than picking just the stocks that you think are good stocks. That said, when you pick stocks, you're introducing randomness. And randomness often dresses up, like for Halloween, as incredible skill. And so it's like the stat about casinos. Something like 94% of people who walk into a casino are up at some point in the night, right?
Mm-hmm.
They come in with $100 and they're at 120 or something. They're up some amount of money at some point in the night. But 90% of people leave a loser. And those early wins can tease you into thinking, oh, wait, I'm good at this. Or wait, I got a system, or I'm on a hot streak or whatever. And so while I think most people agree going to Vegas and trying to beat the casino is not a good financial decision, stocks are the same way. But stocks are even a little bit trickier because while you might make 8% a year in stocks and say you're a winner, if the market goes up 10%, you're actually losing by 2%. And losing by 2% over time could erode half of your value. And so it's not like a casino where you're risking losing all your money. There's a more insidious loss here, which is just an underperformance to the index. And so to the stock pickers out there, I'd say, hey, great, I love you, respect you, but looking at the research, study after study after study show stock pickers don't beat the market repeatedly and predictably over time. They eventually lose to the market. And so if you want to do it, my recommendation is the 90-10 rule. With 90% of your portfolio, buy and hold index funds. Low fee, get the whole market, guarantee yourself your fair share of all market growth. And with the 10%, then go nuts. And if you're, if like this commenter said, there's a lot you can do. If you're so good, if there's a lot you can do with that 10%, that 10% will grow well beyond your 90% and you'll still be fabulously wealthy. If you're wrong and the massive data and research on the topic is right and you're not going to be able to beat the market over time, then at least your 90% is going to kind of lock in the market gains, and the 10% was like your lotto ticket, which may or may not pay off. That's what I say.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely one of the hot button issues on the Personal Finance Club Instagram. So you get lots of comments there.
I posted about insurance yesterday, so there's some really angry insurance people. We might have to do another Jeremy at time today.
For sure.
Next episode.
Yes. Okay. And on that note, that's all the time that we have for you today on the Personal Finance Club show. Thank you for coming, and we hope to see you again next week.
And don't forget the 2 rules of Personal Finance Club. Rule number 1, live below your means. And rule number 2, invest early and often. See you next time.
The Personal Finance Club show is produced by Jeremy Schneider and Jen Mundia. Music by Esabalu and Homie. Send your questions to podcast@personalfinanceclub.com. The Personal Finance Club show is co-hosted by Jeremy Schneider, who is a co-owner of Nectarine, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The views expressed on this show are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Nectarine. Please refer to hellonectarine.com for all relevant disclosures. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as personalized investment advice or a solicitation to buy or sell any security. Listeners should consult their own financial, legal, or tax professionals for advice specific to their situation.